What's going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. We're on the Mistweaver. I want to do a video talking about different dungeons and boss fights and how to approach them as a Mistweaver on Tyrannical weeks. That's what we're on right now. This is Tyrannical Volcanic Sanguine. So this week is actually a pretty easy week in terms of dungeons, but the Tyrannical part is going to be the most difficult part for us as healers. So today, we're just going to talk about a Neltharus that I did. It wasn't even a super high one. I think it was a 13. We'll get into it. I mean, no, it was only an 11. So, not very high, but the ideas here is what I want to talk about. The ideas of when to use your cooldowns, how to handle some of the boss fights, because some of these dungeons have boss fights that are particularly hard. Neltharus is one of them, with the big elephant boss at the beginning with his tusks and stuff. So, we're going to talk about all that in this video. And yeah, I want to dive in just really quickly to the talent tree, what I've got going here. Thank you for the last person who commented about being able to switch my Font of Life over to Echoing Reverberation. It's very, very good. If you haven't done this yet, you really should. This gives you a lot more damage on your Zen Pulse. What did I end up doing overall? Yeah, Zen Pulse ended up doing like 10% of my damage. Before, it was only doing maybe 6%. So, it's up to you. If you feel like you really need extra healing in a dungeon scenario, then you can drop Echoing Reverberation and maybe pick up Yu'lon's Whisper, would be the other one, or potentially get a buff to Life Cocoon. But realistically, this is what you're going to want to grab in the middle section of the tree here instead of Font of Life. That's what I ended up doing. So here's what you're going to need to know for boss fights on Tyrannical weeks. You need to make sure that you're utilizing Revival, Shaylin's Gift, your single target bubble with Life Cocoon, and invoke Chi-Ji the Red Crane. These cooldowns have to be managed correctly, or else everybody will die. That's just the bottom line. That's how these dungeons work. So, make sure that you're managing those correctly. This is the opening trash here to Neltharus. We end up doing this last trash pack here. Again, this is where you can use your the sphere, your Zen sphere. The way to get the extra damage out of your Zen sphere, am I saying that? Not Zen Pulse. I'm so sorry. Your Zen Pulse is to make sure that the person you cast it on has enveloping mist on them, and then when you do, it's going to go off twice. That's not a really good example there, but I did it earlier. Here's the first boss fight here. This is Chargath. This is the one that most people fear. I actually think this is one of the easier bosses in this dungeon now because they nerfed him. The other bosses are actually really scary if they're not done correctly. So, but I'm going to show you all the boss fights in this Neltharus. We're going to go through all of them. At the beginning, the most important thing in this boss fight for us is making sure that our Feline Stomp is put down at the right time and in the right direction. Because there's a lot of movement in this fight that's going to ruin your Feline if you're not careful. I'm sitting on a full reset Feline right now. Here comes the charge. You want to be very careful. The opening of the fight, usually everybody tanks him in this corner, and he's going to charge probably to a wall that's very close to you. You have to be very careful about these coming out. Be very careful about the lava coming out. Then you can see my Feline is no longer here, so I'm going to turn and shoot my Feline out towards the middle so I have room to work with. Okay, now he's going to do a bunch of damage with Volatile Munition. This is where you pop one of your cooldowns. Ideally here, you could use Red Crane is very, very good. Shaylin's Gift is also fine. I choose to use Red Crane here, and you can see I'm putting Enveloping Mist on everybody. You just do one Tiger Palm into a Blackout Kick, into an Enveloping Mist, into a Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick, Enveloping Mist, okay? And because we had Lust rolling, I was able to get multiple out. I get 3 of them out here, which is typical, I think. Actually, you can always get 3, I think. There's the second charge. Boss is almost dead, so this is not even really a good indication of how this fight's going to go. On higher keys, this boss will last for a lot longer, and you have to be very careful. But important to just know your positioning of your Feline Stomp, and then every time he does this munitions thing, Volatile Munitions, you need to have a cooldown ready. Feline, or Shaylin's Gift, Red Crane Chi-Ji, or Revival. Don't use both of them, or all 3 of them, or else you're not going to have one for the next round. So you need to space them out correctly and let your Ancient Teachings healing carry the rest of the healing on this fight. If you double up on your cooldowns on this fight, you're going to be in big, big trouble, okay? So just remember that. Here's a big combo here for the Zen Pulse. I'm going to Thunder Focus Tea my Enveloping Mist so that it's instant cast and it goes on the tank right away. There's Thunder Focus Tea. There's my Enveloping Mist right there. And then I can do... I actually messed it up here. Then you can do your Zen Pulse on the tank who has Enveloping Mist, and your Zen Pulse will go off twice. Here, I'm still doing 54k DPS, but I would have been doing like 70k if I'd done that already. I keep messing it up because I'm just getting used to it. This was like my second dungeon doing it. So, yeah, but just understand that that's how you want to do that cooldown. Let's get to the second boss. This boss, in my opinion, is the hardest one, I think. I think this is the hardest boss in here. Because I said I was but I'm not of course. And we end up messing this up, I think, in here. I was doing a dungeon a minute ago, and we messed this up really, really hard. So, it does a lot of damage if you don't do it correctly. Dragon Strike is going to go on somebody. So, you have to just keep that person top. They're going to just take physical damage over time. It's kind of brutal. But just do your Ancient Teachings healing. Don't use any cooldowns yet until this moment right here. Grounding Spear is coming. This is where you want to pop Chi-Ji, Red Crane, and have Shaylin's Gift ready to go. So the chains are going. Ideally, what you want to happen is have your party break one chain immediately and then let the dot fall off and then break 2 more chains as soon as that dot falls off. But this is a very difficult fight for us because he does this fiery focus where he puts a circle around himself. You have to be so careful about your positioning here. There's my Shaylin's Gift to top everybody off. And then I'm doing more healing, and then we do the second set of chains. It's really on the DPS to space the chains out correctly to make this fight work the way that you want it to. Let me just open this really quickly and find the plus 15 that we did that was really awful. I think it's right here. Yep. Yeah, okay. So let me pause this for a second and get another video in here. This is the 15 that we did that we failed miserably. Here's Magmatusk. It gets much, much harder. Everybody got hit by the thing there. This is on a higher key, right? So 15. I want to show you this as well. So now I've used all my cooldowns. I'm in trouble now. I had to use all my cooldowns right there just to recover. Now I don't have any cooldowns for volatile munitions. I'm just healing with Ancient Teachings, melee stuff. I want to be kicking as much as possible. Oh, no, I had Chi-Ji here. I'm sorry. I had Red Crane here. Everybody would have died if I didn't have it. Next charge. Watch out for these waves. Gotta get my Phalanx down again. I'll put it right here. I put it down? Yeah, put it down. Put it down, come on. I was just doing damage, I guess. I don't know what's wrong with me. I need to put my Phalanx down. So that's a huge mistake. I should have put that down way earlier. There's Phalanx now. Now I'll have extra healing. But now I don't have any cooldowns. I have Shaylin's Gift just coming back off. I think I use it right now. There we go. Somebody gets hit by the flames again. These fights are really... There's a lot of personal accountability going on in these fights that you can't really do much about it. Like, that guy just got hit by the blast. He's taking extra damage because the boss is standing in lava. But this fight just gets exponentially harder if people make mistakes. That's just the way it goes. Realistically, though, you should be able to heal up basically every single one of these charges with either Shaylin's Gift or Phalanx Stomp... Or, sorry, Red Crane. Don't be afraid to use Shaylin's Gift. It comes back really, really quickly. Don't ever be afraid to use it. It'll save everybody's life. Okay? Here comes the next boss fight. I want to show you this one on a higher difficulty. Sorry about the skipping. This is very hard on a higher difficulty, and our team really struggled. I don't really know what happened here, actually. I want to know why we struggled so much. I'm not sure if it was my fault. It could have been. I should have used my defensive earlier, but I got the physical dot on me. Here comes the spears. Okay? I think they break all 3 spears here right away. You can see that the chains going out. They're going to break them right now. There goes 1, 2, and there goes the third one, and everybody's dead. There's nothing I can do about that. There's literally nothing you can do. They can't do that. If they break all 3 chains, you're dead. Because it just puts all the dots on too quickly. You need to do 2 chains, and then wait for this dot to fall off, and then you can do the third one. So we end up trying it again. And I think it ends up being okay this time. But even with just 2, everybody's dying. Like, Giga dying. I don't really know why. I guess did I not have a cooldown running? He's waiting on the 3rd chain. This guy never pops the 3rd chain, I don't think. Popping it now. Oh yeah, I stood in melee there. So that one was my fault. I stood in melee. Big problem. Big mistake of mine. We tried one more time, but it just doesn't go very well. We do have Lust. But yeah, this is a really difficult fight for us. Very, very difficult. It requires a lot of focus. It requires the DPS to kind of do the chains perfectly. And it also requires us to pump out a lot of healing. I think I popped Chi-Ji here. There's Red Crane. Okay. There goes one chain. Second chain. I'm trying to stay out of melee. That rogue just dies. He just got run over by something. I think he stood in the melee of the boss again. We're doing okay right now, but we don't pop the third chain. This is the problem. The rogue dies, and he had a chain on him, and so the tank doesn't pull over to where the rogue's body is. I don't even think it matters. I think the chain just disappears for whatever reason. So now the boss is going to get to the end of his cast, and the dots go out, and it's impossible to heal this up. It's literally not possible. So just know this fight is definitely quite hard, but it's something that you just have to keep all your cooldowns ready to go for the chains. Have your DPS break 2 of the chains, and then break 1 of the chains afterwards, and it will end up being okay. That's how you end up doing that fight correctly, and it will end up being okay if you do it that way. And save your cooldowns so that you have them ready to go for when those chains are being broken. Here's the third boss, Forgemaster. He's going to hit the Forge here. You just need to pop a cooldown right here. Pop 1 of them. So here goes Red Crane, Chi-Ji. I'm going to start healing. Get the Enveloping Mist going. Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick. Enveloping, Tiger Palm, Blackout Kick. Enveloping. Yeah, for some reason I step into a circle there like an idiot. That was completely my fault. I get back up here. I think I press Shaylin's Gift, recover. And I don't have revival because I used it. So now we're just kind of like relying on our ancient teachings healing. That was my fault. I stepped on a circle and died. That's literally all what happened there. Need to not be doing that. Red Crane is back. So I can pop it again here if I want to. I don't know if I need to. There, I pop it now. Get some healing going. Triple kick into an enveloping. I have to stand back just to make sure I don't die. And the boss ends up dying. On a longer fight, you have to be very, very careful. On Tyrannical, he will just, like, those circles will just one-shot you. So I will just say on this boss fight, that's not really the best example. I'm very sorry about that. But just make sure you're using 1 cooldown when he does Might of the Forge. When Blazing Aegis comes out, obviously you need to be very, very careful about your positioning. And don't die like I did. And you'll be fine for the rest of the fight. It's not going to be too hard to do that, okay? Just don't use all your cooldowns in one go. This is the biggest mistake that people make, is they end up using all their cooldowns at once because they freak out. Don't freak out. Let your Ancient Teachings healing carry you for most of the fight, and then use your cooldowns in the correct way. Here's the last boss fight here. This one's a little tricky for us because you have to go and collect treasures, and so you can't be like doing damage / healing. So you want to make sure you utilize your mobility here. We also can't get rid of the curse, and I even tried Revival, and Revival does not get rid of curses, right? It only gets rid of like poison and diseases and stuff, so, and magic. So the curses are just going to stay on people, which is pretty frustrating and just something you have to deal with. So here comes the first shield. Use your extra action button, and then get your Shaylin's Gift. Somebody got hit by a circle there. Get Shaylin's Gift ready to go here. It's really big. You can top everybody right there. That's really important. It's just, yeah, you can take 1 sidestep away from the swirlies, pop your Shaylin's Gift, and you should be okay. If you need to, you can pop Revival as well. But really, you want to get Shaylin's Gift on cooldown because it's so strong. And it's really hard to use Red Crane Chi-Ji in that moment there because there's so many red swirlies all over the place. I'm trying to find a treasure. This is really annoying. Here comes the next shield. I use my thing. I'm healing people. That guy gets wrecked. I Vivify him, and then I do a Shaylin's just to top people because I was kind of worried. Then we're kind of okay. But somebody's dead, so the shield doesn't go off very, very quickly. The warrior's dead. Then the tank gets hit by a thing here. And I think the druid and I try to make it work, but we can't, unfortunately. So just, again, personal mistakes. You can't do anything about that. That's just the tank getting hit by a red swirly. So same thing back again. Round 2. Very, very careful running around here. You can pop... Essence Font is okay here, but it just doesn't do enough healing. You really need the big guns like Revival and Red Crane or Shaylin's Gift. Those are actually going to pump enough throughput. But you could do like Thunder Focus Tea into enveloping or into your Essence Font, and that would be okay. That would actually do a little bit of healing. Might keep people going just long enough you can get back to your cooldown. I think we have one more of the treasure things here. I think I hit this one's the dash, right? Oh, it dashes me to the enemy, and I almost have to bubble myself because I hate the one that dashes. It's so stupid. But yeah, this fight's kind of weird. You need to use your cooldowns correctly, but it's kind of hard. Shaylin's Gift is your best tool on this last boss fight because you can take one side step away and pop it, and you'll full heal everybody. But a lot of these fights, guys, they're literally just personal accountability. There's not a lot you can do. If somebody steps in a swirly here, that's on them, and they're dead. There's nothing you could do about that. If somebody doesn't do this last boss fight correctly, then it's also on them, right? Forgemaster, if they step on a swirly like I did, then that's on them. So that's, again, personal accountability. If they get hit by a swirly, that's totally on them. Same with all the boss fights in here, really. They're actually all the exact same. I need to go back even further. I'm so sorry. This guy is the same. This is a little bit more on us. We need to be healing really, really hard. But, like, if somebody gets hit, if somebody stands in melee and instantly dies to the melee circle, that's on them, right? So, yeah, there's just a lot of personal accountability in these dungeons. There's only so much you can really do. What you want to make sure you're tracking is your revival, your Shaylin's Gift, your 1 minute bubble here with Life Cocoon, and then your Red Crane Chi-Ji. Don't use them all at the same time. Space them out, and make sure your Feline Stomp is in the right direction so that you don't lose it, because a lot of these fights require a lot of mobility. Make sure your Feline Stomp is kind of like in the gap of where the boss is going to be leaping to or where the boss is going to be charging to. Try and get your Feline Stomp in the right spot, or have a reset ready to go for when you have to reposition. And then the rest of it is just managing these cooldowns correctly. Make sure that you're popping them one at a time, using them effectively, and then let your Ancient Teachings healing carry you the rest of the way. Let your Feline Stomp healing carry you for the rest of the fight, and then just sort of space out those cooldowns correctly, okay? Hope that helps you guys. If you're struggling to heal some of those bosses, I'm going to do more Tyrannical dungeons, and I'm going to talk about more boss fights in the next couple of videos, so stay tuned for that. If you're wondering how to heal some of the boss fights, I'm going to talk more about it in the previous video, in the next video, okay? Thank you so much again for watching, guys. I love you all. I will see you in the next one.